right shoulder on top of these 13 stories. That trapezoid figure with X bracing is one of the 5 support trusses atop the skeletal frame. Now what they allow happen is for that section of the building to be suspended above the ground. If you were walking by it, you could literally run your hand flat like this under those 13 stories. Immediately to our right is 2 North Riverside Plaza, completed in 1929 by Holabird and Root. It was celebrated across the nation for its Art Deco style. When I refer to a building being Art Deco, I'm talking about setbacks in the facade and a strong emphasis on vertical lines. When we clear the bridge, it'll be a little hard because of the sun, but look right behind the building, and you're going to see a curvy blue glass skyscraper coming into view. This is our City Core building. Now, it was completed in 1987 by Murphy and Young. It was built to look like a cascading waterfall. Ironically enough, in a number of opinions, it wound up looking a little more like a cash register. Now, if you look immediately to our right, underneath this building, you can see an Amtrak train at rest. All of these buildings are so sound structurally that we barely hear, feel, or notice any of that ongoing traffic that takes place beneath them throughout the day. The buildings are actually constructed so the walls are able to ventilate the fumes and exhaust emitted from those trains and then release them through vents on the roof. We've started to pass a few buildings in our Gateway Plaza. All of the Gateway buildings by Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill. That was Gateway 1, and this is Gateway 2. Gateway 1 and 2 are identical 20-story museum after the architect Mies van der Rohe are modernistic buildings by Bruce Graham. Now we've seen modernism come into popularity post-World War II. The emphasis of modernism is on the material that is used. We have a lack of style, a rejection of the non-essential ornamentation to keep the focal point symbolized the material. You see it in artwork at the time of Andy Warhol, Jackson Pollock, and photography like Ansel Adams. As we clear the Adams Street Bridge, we'll be in front of Union Station, designed by our city planner, Daniel Burnham. It was completed in the 1920s. To the left of it, Gateway 3, this building is done in what we call precast construction. All that means is we made the cement panels off-base and brought the conveyors for the completion of the skyscraper. Next door, the short 5-story black box building will do exploration. This was designed by Dr. Crosler Kahn, the engineer who worked on the former Sears Tower, and the Hancock building as a trading floor for the Mercantile Exchange. Now we see the X's here for the same reason you see them on the Hancock. What they do is allow for an expansion of the interior space. They cut down the need for load-bearing walls and pillars on the interior by moving the majority of the structural support to the X bracing on the skeleton of skyscraper. Gateway 4 is next, the largest and most dramatic of our Gateway buildings, by George DeStefano before he left Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill to start his own firm. When DeStefano was asked, how are you going to decorate your Gateway building? The only thing he responded was, with the other building. That is why we have this curve with the bend of the river and a convex or bubble glass that leaves the building with a kaleidoscope view of the surrounding skyscraper. Coming up next, we have our old post office. Now, when the building was completed in the 1930s with 2.25 million square feet of space, this was the largest postal facility in the world, marking Chicago as a sales catalog supercenter, with JCPenney, Sears, and Montgomery Ward all leaving our city. Now, do you see this Department of Health and Human Services stapled along the side of the building? That's because it's currently being used as a building of Transformers 3. Transformers 3 has been filming in Chicago since July. They plan to go through August 23rd. We're going to go under the Congress Parkway. This runs through the old post office as part of Burnham's plan. Burnham envisioned a major public building straddling a major public roadway. Now, the building has been empty for over a decade and auctioned off for the first time last summer. Now, the opening bid started at $300,000 and went all the way up to $40 million, but they renegotiated it for $20 million because there's about $5 million of asbestos removal left within the building. There have been no formal plans for renovation released. There are talks of the North Tower being condominiums, South Tower possibly retail, and a hotel between the two. It's all speculation at the moment. Some of you might have already seen this building and not known it. If anyone's seen the Dark Knight movie, the last Batman movie was filmed in Chicago. Our old post office, both the Gotham Police Station and our Gotham Bank. Now, it was decided that multi-level postal facilities were inefficient. So we created new postal facilities, and our postal workers left. They didn't have to go far. They went right down the street. Coming up next is our new post office, completed in 1996 by Knight Engineers and Architects. Now, you're going to see at the north tip of this building, there's a glass atrium. And there's a little more because of the sun. But this atrium was added by the architects to help break the severity of the building's design. Now, they also had this amazing idea that they could lease it out for major events. They thought, and I kid you not, weddings. So if anyone knows a bride-to-be who's looking for somewhere to get married, trust me, the post office would be more than happy to take the business. Now, I can't say that we're actually getting married at the post office, but I feel if we did, we'd have to go all the way with it and take that postal yellow on the crossbeams as one of our bridal colors. When the building was completed in '96, it was in compliance with an ordinance at the time, no longer in existence, that required buildings to be set back far enough from the river's edge to allow for green space. Now, majority of the buildings that were constructed at the time of the ordinance have public walkways available. This building does not. It is a federal building and is considered a security risk. The new postal facility is actually one of the largest automated facilities in the entire nation. Now to the front and left of us, we're coming into view of a rather large tan curvy or serpentine building. Now, if it looks familiar, it makes sense we've already seen some work from the same architect, Bertrand Goldberg. This is River City. Goldberg gave us Marina City, the corncob buildings at the start of the tour. Like Marina City, this is another city within a city concept. So just like Marina City, it gives its residents a marina and has a 1-acre climate-controlled park, a gym, and a number of other little assessments to make city living more accessible. This is because Bertrand Goldberg was opposed to decentralization and suburbanization. He thought the American city was dying because everyone was leaving it and moving out to the suburbs. So majority of his condominium complexes are designed with the idea of making city living as accessible as possible. Pull your attention to the right. You're going to see a red and white radio tower. At the base of the radio tower is a flat red brick building with a red wall that faces north. Flat red brick building, red wall that faces north, just to the right of the radio tower. Side of Mrs. O'Leary's farm. That's where our fire got started. We have a sense of humor in the city. That's where we train our firefighters. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in the narration, we actually take a tiny little pause while we make our way south. We're on a more industrialized part of our river. It's a great opportunity to stretch your legs, take a few photos of the skyline coming into view behind us. Muriel is at the bar downstairs waiting to serve you. She also has bottles of water, soft drinks, and snacks available. Now, this is the only part of narration that we do take. So if you have any questions, this is the best opportunity to ask them. Now, behind us, you will see our former Sears Towers come into view. This is the tallest building in Chicago, North America, and the Western Hemisphere. Rising 1,454 feet, 110 stories. It is currently the third